Devin Dubnyk, and he decides to hang on to it. So, with the Oilers' goal by Taylor Hall, swimming a big Delta card at Safeway, a good idea of course, Susan Savage of Edmonton. She's won the Hoover Wind Tunnel Air Vacuum, courtesy of Safeway. Congratulations, Susan, on the 15th goal of the season for Taylor Hall.
And for Taylor Hall, he loves Kevin to jump out in games early. 10 of his 15 goals and 22 points on.
Going out of play.
This is a replica of the remote that inspired the big win. The original was tragically lost in a carriage.
Get your game on with Pools.
Well, time to play Safeway's $1 million scored win if any Oilers player scores 5 goals in tonight's game. Paul Gaudette of Edmonton could win $1 million. Shop it's right at Safeway. You could be our next lucky winner right here on Sportsnet. Right at Safeway. You could be our next lucky winner right here on Sportsnet. Gets set up there, and you saw that sharp angle shot that shots off the cycle heading to the net. Well, real nice energy shift again. This is the line that started the game for Ralph Kruger, and 3 big bodies that like to bang, and Kraft Jones starts it off with a big hit on Allen on the forecheck, gets in aggressively, good cycle down low, and a lot of traffic in that blue paint. And those opportunities are something that the Oilers haven't done enough of this year, and something they're trying to work.
Look at the first period scoring summary brought to you by Worley Parsons Ford, now hiring trades in oil country. Visit WorleyParsons.com/career and apply today.
Taylor Hall starts things off in a big hurry and finish into the game with his 15th, and then Cam Fowler ties the game very late in the game with only 2 seconds left on the clock in the first period to make it a 1-1 game. The Oilers outshot in a 15th, and then Cam Fowler ties the game very late in the game with only 2 seconds left on the clock in the first period to make it a 1-1 game. The Oilers outshot Anaheim 9-6 in that first 20, and a little bit better start there for Anaheim right at the gates. Get a puck in deep, cycle it down low.
Then gets left. They want to play 98 speed as we try to reach one. And then all the way down the 6 games.
He's going on for that. Definitely didn't stick.
Reception to Corey Perry, and they're jamming away, and Devin Dubnyk.
No question about it. He's going to do that. That's exactly what Corey Perry does. Gets in there, jams away. Good shot from the blue line. Gotten a highly offensive defenseman in his first year North American pro. Just zips it through. Good save by Dubnyk right there. And it wasn't a hard shot by Benito that gets through. The second one, it's a bouncing puck that bobbles through. And for Dubnyk, he has to come up with a quick save. And that little nice little transition. A good backtrack, as you mentioned, defended by Taylor Hall to get back, break up the play with the stick. The last second dives down, intercepts it. Jordan Eberle goes away with Sam Gagner. A little drop pass to the middle. Gagner with a shot wide. And a good job by Miller here to kind of corral that puck afterwards with bodies coming into him. And you look at what he's done in the last 5 starts. He's played a lot better. And as we heard the debate going on who was going to play in the playoffs for the Anaheim Ducks, both of these guys, Jonas Hiller and Victor, will have that hassle in the top ball. The Blue Jays are back on the road this week as well. They visit the Baltimore Orioles on Sportsnet 1 Pacific and Ontario. Pregame coverage at 4 p.m. Mountain. Then an American Midwest matchup from Anaheim as the struggling LA Angels host the Texas Rangers at 8 p.m. Mountain on Sportsnet 1. Taylor Hall holding the box here for 2 as he was coming back on Keaton. Just gets the stick in a little too tight, a little can opener move to steal that puck and right to the box for 2.
So 4-on-4 for the next 12 seconds.
Sure. Come up and line up. They've got it all year long for the 7 games. They want to get in games.
Had it knocked off his stick, backhanded in by Linus Karlsson. Canucks have not won a game in regulation since December the 19th. And they are 0-7-2 in their last 9. Icing was waved off. Baines on his horse down the right-hand side. Lazar got caught in too deep, but then recovered and made a steal and slid it back to Frederick as the play has gotten a bit sloppy here. And that's probably an understatement.
Cannot hesitate.
Nurse backing off. A reset for the Oilers. 2:40 to go in the first period. No score in the hockey game. Edmonton in the white. Vancouver in the home blacks. Here's Mangiapane. Whistled around the boards to Curtis Lazar. Punched down the wall, Sasson. Battling Mangiapane. Double teamed by Janmark. pried loose by Victor Mancini from the backside. He'll go hard up the boards. This will turn into an icing call against the Canucks. 2:19 to go in the first period. And now Edmonton will go to the Roslovic line for the offensive zone draw. Chris Knobloch's club has scored 15 goals in the next 2 games after their previous 1-0 loss. Remember, they got bageled by another team that leads the league in shutouts. Minnesota and the New York Islanders co-lead with 7 apiece. And after the 1-0 loss to the Wild, Edmonton exploded for 9 the next game against Seattle. Well, now they're in Vancouver, and they haven't scored in 18 minutes against Tolopilo. Roslovic wins the face-off. Back to Bouchard. Roslovic has it back on his stick. Tried to go to Savoy. Now Isaac Howard fires one, cross seam. Ekholm holds onto it, keeps the play onside. Roslovic button hooking, top of the left circle. Looking for his first point in 8 games. Again, since being moved to center ice, the offense has dried up a little bit despite lots of chances. Here's Savoy from behind the net. Roslovic. Bouchard circling, left face-off dot shot, a kick save made by Tolopilo, and then O'Connor turned it over as he attempted to clear. Can Edmonton make Vancouver pay? O'Connor getting bodied up by Roslovic. Good work by this line again, but it skitters outside the zone, and the Oilers have nothing to show for it. Bouchard straight ahead for Howard. Now Roslovic's open and blistered one up over top. He had a lot of room, right circle.
That was the best chance of the game for the Oilers. Got to finish that.
Well, he had had a previous chance in the slot. Roslovic's had the 2 best chances, I would say. I'm not sure which one was better, but bottom line is nothing to show for it, and that line has to be getting frustrated because they played well. Besser in on the forecheck. The outlet to Nurse. With a minute to go in a scoreless first period, Hyman bodied up by Roenick. Shook it off, got it down low for Podkolzin. Beneath the goal line to McDavid on the right half boards. Across, Nurse left circle. Tipped by Podkolzin. McDavid back on it. Just inside the blue line on the right side. Marcus Pettersson ahead for Besser. He corrals, tried to get it to Ogren. It went through him, then he got it back and fired it in, forcing Jari to play it. He'll leave it for Nurse. The drop pass to McDavid. Half minute to go in the period. McDavid building speed through the neutral zone. Gets through Camp. Roenick was there, got in his lane. McDavid fluttered one over to Staston. Then back to Nurse. Middle of the ice, Podkolzin. Top of the circles in the Vancouver zone. McDavid with 12 seconds. Makes the move. Dishes off. One-timer Podkolzin from the Draisaitl spot. Hits the side of the net. McDavid on the rebound. Time running out in the first. Podkolzin tried to keep it alive. 2 seconds. And we will end the first period locked in a scoreless tie. The Oilers registered 5 of the period's last 6 shots on net. But Vancouver is able to duck out of the opening 20 in a scoreless battle with Edmonton. And for the Canucks, again, having been outscored 27-9 in their last 6, that's a win for them. It's not a win for Edmonton. Canucks, the longer they hang around, Bob, you start wondering whether this is Tolopilo's night.
Got to get more traffic in front of the net and got to stop working for shots to the side of the goal. You get chances to funnel it on the net. One of the guys that's getting an opportunity here to play in the top 6 is Trent Frederick. We'll speak to him momentarily, but there's guys hungry to get more because Connor Leon plays so much.
And it's all on the left side, if you think of it. And we're joined by one of them right now, Trent Frederick. Guys obviously had some pressure throughout that period, Trent, after a frustrating night against Sorokin. What are you facing tonight in Tolopilo? He looks like a big man. What needs to happen moving forward in this one?
I think it might be another couple seconds before we have. Yep. So we're just waiting.
You would say more traffic.
I would say more traffic, and I just think more north-south and less east-west. The Oilers got to funnel pucks to net. He's a big man. Get some bodies in front of him and force him to work.
Well, now we are joined by Trent Frederick. And Trent, a lot of opportunity in that first period. I wonder, does it harken back to Thursday night where he had all kinds of chances against Sorokin? How do you generate more and get Tolopilo moving side to side?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
We got you.
Sorry about that. I thought that was a good period for us. I mean, maybe a little bit more guys in front of the net, maybe a little more, maybe shots on net right now because the skill plays and all that stuff right now aren't going in. So maybe we should get a couple dirty ones and the rest will fall.
All right. So look, Leon Draisaitl's dealing with a personal matter. You're a guy who's being elevated. You're obviously chomping at the bit to get some more minutes. Tonight's your opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. I had a lot of fun that period. Got a little bit more minutes and I felt good about it.
Biggest thing is you're not going to let that 74 beat you, are you?
No way. Not Louis, son.
All right, Trent, thanks for the time.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Trent Frederick and, of course, Jake DeBrusk broke in together with the Boston Bruins and played for some great teams. Bobby, you said it, more traffic in front of the net. Trent echoed that sentiment. But outside of that, I wonder... That was a quiet period for 97. What's Vancouver doing to take away some touches for Connor McDavid?
In this building, they've played him well. Like, they played him well earlier this season. They played him well in the preseason game.
He's got 70 points in 44 games against them.
I know that, but he's done a lot. He's made a lot of hay at home. Even in the 7-game series, he had 9 points. Bouchard had 11. Draisaitl had 14. Now that said, game 2 here, Connor and Leon won the game for the Oilers that night. But I think they're getting the right matchup out there. Pettersson loves going. I mean, if you take a look at it, Pettersson's been okay against McDavid. What I don't like is how much East-West has been in Edmonton's game. Get the puck to the net, attack the net, and I haven't liked the starts. And you know what? It's been a little bit of a reoccurring theme. And sometimes when you work your way into a game, you're behind and you're having to chase. So get going here early in the second period. Now, we saw against Winnipeg, back half of that game, Edmonton really got going against a team that was a little bit vulnerable. The game against the Islanders, I know the Islanders won 1-0, but the Oilers were all over them in the second, third period.
24-6, the shots.
Get going and get a little less deselective with the shots. Put it to the net and get her going here.
Fair enough. He's Bob Stauffer. I'm Jack Michaels. Rob and Brendan await their turn. That's next. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey with a score tied at 0s through 20 from Vancouver. The Oilers Radio Network.
Can an energy provider make you feel carefree? We think so. Because who doesn't like to be surrounded by good energy? Great rates always. Gimmicks never. Perks that reward your loyalty and energy experts who know what's what. Carefree just feels good. Encore by Emcor, your carefree electricity and natural gas provider.
Our house is your house. Cybersecurity is not just IT, it's a business issue. One breach can halt operations and permanently damage trust. Business leaders choose AltTech because they understand the stakes. Their specialists design cyber-first IT systems that protect productivity, safeguard data, and support growth. From construction to nonprofits, Canadian organizations rely on AltTech to stay resilient in a digital-first world. Secure operations, strong reputation, sustainable growth. That is AltTech. Visit altech.ca. That's alt-tech.ca.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Back in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth at Tom Rogers Arena. Second period about to start. McDavid out there with Podkolzin and Hyman. Offensively and on the back end, Bouchard and Ekholm. Tristan Jarry in the pipes tonight for the Oilers. 7 saves in that first period, helping keeping the scoreless ties. We begin period 2 with a Connor McDavid face-off win. Alongside Bob Stauffer, I'm Jack Michaels. And the second period begins with the Oilers getting it in deep. Bouchard had the puck wrestled free by Pettersson, who then spun and went cross-ice with it. Ekholm picked it off and hacked it back into the Vancouver zone. Canucks in the black, red, and yellow. Oilers in their road whites with the blue pants and orange trim. Steal by Hyman at the Oiler blue line across to Podkolzin. Left wing tried to feather in front for Bouchard, the trailer. Brock Besser went down to one knee to make sure, and then it was scooped back to center. Liam Ogren lost the handle. Oilers control. Podkolzin back to the D This time it's Nurse on that left side. Bouchard set to change. Kapanen will drop it back to Nurse. Onto the ice, Ty Emberson receives a pass from Nurse and then gives it right back to him. Spilled in by Nugent Hopkins. That's going to be recovered by Marcus Pettersson. Swung off a stick. Kapanen with a chance. Right circle down low to Nugent Hopkins. He waits. He peers inside. Fires a pass up top for Emberson. Then back to Nugent Hopkins. Evander Kane. Best year was the 21-22 season when he joined the Oilers midway through and tied for the league lead in postseason goals. Nugent Hopkins charging back in. Nurse will hammer it back behind the net. Roenick got there. Oh, big hit on Evander Kane as Emberson stepped up and flattened Evander Kane hard off the boards and out. Kapanen at center. You got to love that, Bob.
Yeah.
Big hit by Emberson on Kane. Nurse hammered one up the left-hand side, and it's Isaac Howard trying to thread it through the hulking Tyler Myers. Eventually got it down low to Savoy on the half wall. Wallman calling for the puck. Instead, Savoy tried to bump it over to Howard. That was broken up. Ratu and quickly sifted out by Bouillon. Stepping up is Aatu Ratu. A wrist shot off the rush, and a good save by Tristan Jarry as that one flew off his right shoulder and sailed out of play with 2 and change gone by here in the second period. We are still scoreless. Last year, Bob, Edmonton was 17-7-1 on the road against the West. Best record in the league. This year, just 4-4-3.
Yeah. Losses in Calgary, losses in Vancouver, Vancouver in overtime, Calgary in regulation. And no shots in the first 2-11.
And when you're trying to win your first division title since 1987, you can't let those games get away. Not against teams that don't look like they'll be making the playoffs. Garland fired one in front. Vilander up top. His shot does not make its way through. Connor Garland shadowed and then fired to the opposite corner. As the Oilers are below 500 against teams currently in a playoff position. So they got to make their hay when they get games like this against a Vancouver club trying to avoid a 10-game losing streak. Edmonton rallied to beat Winnipeg when the Jets were floundering. Oilers haven't fallen behind tonight, but they haven't jumped out on top either. Vilander ahead for Connor Garland. Hits the line. Vilander, quick shot. Save Jarry. He'll keep it moving up the right-hand side for Matthias Ekholm. Janmark, his target, finds him at center ice. Janmark looks for a trailer. It's Wallman. Ahead to Lazar. Now Roslovic loads, dishes, and a backhander score. What a move by Jack Roslovic. His backhander finds its way home. And Edmonton takes a 1-0 lead. Roslovic had not had a point in his last 7. Vancouver felt there was contact, but Edmonton will take the lead. Discussion, meanwhile, between referee Tom Shimolevsky and Kyle Murchison. Did Lazar make contact with Tolopilo?
He definitely made contact with him. The question is, did Sassoon push him in?
Of course, Adam Foote has the option to challenge here, but for now, Roslovic credited with his 13th of the year. And again, his first point of any kind in 8 games. Dragged it to the backhand, and it somehow slipped through Tolopilo. I'm wondering whether Lazar made contact with that left pad, which allowed it to funnel through.
I think this is going to come off the board, Jack.
Well, he's going to have to challenge it first, Bob. It's not going to come off the board without a challenge. Called a goal on the ice. They're taking a long look on the Vancouver bench. And, of course, the risk you take if you're the opposition is do you put Edmonton's league best power play on a man advantage?
And we'd be remiss without mentioning Tolopilo's trying to buy some more time for the coaching staff here.
Checking the pads out, getting his equipment.
Yep.
I don't think there's a challenge here. Roslovic, his 13th at 3:11. It'll count, and Edmonton's up 1-0. And now Adam Foote
they are going to challenge.
Waves it. Boy, he took a long time.
Well, that was a cagey move by the guy in the cage.
Graham Skilleter is now at the Vancouver bench. They still have not officially made the challenge. Now Skiller's coming over, and predictably we'll have an announcement here.
Vancouver's challenging the play for goaltender interference prior to the goal.
So let's see.
I think it's coming off the board. I think he got a piece of him. Lazar was skating towards the front of the net. He did get a backside push from Sassoon.
Does he make contact in the blue paint? Because if Tolopilo's above the blue paint, Lazar, who's trying to put the brakes on, has the right to that ice as well. I don't know.
I'm going to be stunned if this stays on the board. I think this is coming off.
Let's see. Tolopilo is right on the edge of the blue paint. Lazar's right skate makes contact with him right on that red line at the top of the blue paint. Very close. This is a tough one. This is not an easy call. And that's why Vancouver took such a long look at it. Because remember, it's called a goal on the ice. Is there enough to overturn? We're about to find out. Here's Shimoleski.
After coach's challenge video review, it was determined it was the actions of the defensive player that caused the offensive player to go in. There was no goaltender interference on the ice stands.
So Sassoon with the push. I'm a little surprised by that, Jack. I got to tell you, Oilers get a chance in the power play here, though.
So the challenge fails. The goal counts for Roslovic. It's his 13th. And Sassoon guilty of riding Lazar into his own goaltender. Now Vancouver, who struggled mightily on the last 5 games of the road trip. They gave up 6 goals in 12 tries. So their penalty kill is struggling. And Edmonton's the number 1 in power play in the league.
It's 31st against first. 72.1% for the Canucks, and the Oilers power play at 33.3.
David Kampf wins the draw against Connor McDavid. Pumped up the left-hand side, cut off by Wallman, who replaces Draisaitl on the first power play unit. So Wallman and Bouchard at the points, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. McDavid, who has 9 power play goals, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and Bouchard all with 6. Bouchard dishes one-timer Wallman and a save made by Tolopilo, and the rebound rammed off the left boards and out.
That was a rocket.
Here's McDavid. Over the line, Nugent Hopkins. Linus Karlsson serving the penalty for Vancouver. Bouchard to Nugent Hopkins. McDavid, side of the net. Bouchard in the slot. Shot saved. Tolopilo rebound behind him, but not covered. Still available. Myers standing at the far post. Hyman couldn't tuck it home, and finally it's whistled down. Myers just anchored himself at the far post, and the Oilers unable to finish.
Yeah, couldn't find the loose change. And other things Edmonton's going to miss. I mean, Draisaitl's obviously an elite-level finisher. He's also their primary face-off man at 56%. McDavid at 47%. Nugent Hopkins at 46.5%. The 2 center options here to take draws.
Here's Roenick, hard rim up the right-hand side. And Bob, for now, they're saying that Lazar got a piece of that puck.
I'm amazed by that.
So it's Lazar's 4th from Roslovic and Wallman officially as of now. Here's Wallman in across the line to Nugent Hopkins, top of the left circle, McDavid. That's the official call at 3:11 of the second. Now the Oilers look to build on that 1-0 lead. Bouchard in the high slot. Wallman right face-off dot. Hyman net front presence. McDavid left point. Nugent Hopkins now with possession, top of the left circle. McDavid left side, centering pass off the stick of Tolofilo. That was a nice play by the goaltender, forcing Edmonton back into its own end. Lead pass, Bouchard and Nugent Hopkins missed, but Hyman's ahead of the field, so no icing. Roenick spun it off his stick, but Wallman was there to gather and send it over to McDavid. Power play about to be over. One-timer and a save. Tolofilo on Woolman. Denied twice by the Vancouver goaltender. That was a dangerous pass by McDavid, and Woolman denied. Now it's Garland to Pettersson with Vancouver back at full strength. Pettersson made one spin move, but then taken off his stick by Nurse. Carlson up top. Shot Mancini and a save Tristan Jarry. Remains 1-0 for the Oilers as Nugent-Hopkins clears to Roslovic. Worked up the right-hand side by the Canucks. Pettersson on to Evander Kane. Bouncing puck corralled finally by Garland. He'll spin, and now we're going to have a penalty for high sticking on Garland. And the Oilers will go right back to the man advantage with an opportunity to extend this 1-0 lead.
Vancouver, number 8, 2-minute minor, high sticking.
Power play brought to you by our friends at Atco Energy. Now they've switched it back to Roslovic, which is what I thought originally. So, as usual, the offense.
You had it right. I'm still surprised at counter, Jack, I got to tell you.
So Roslovic is 13th from Lazar and Woolman. Is that the final decision?
And I've had a run here of about 7 in a row right. I didn't think that was going to count. But again, Sassoon did give Lazar a little bit of a shot. See if Connor can win a draw here to start the power play.
Second power play of the game. It's brought to you by Atco Energy, your trusted energy retailer. Face-off win for the Canucks, but now McDavid is able to plow through traffic and return it to Woolman up top for Evan Bouchard. Now McDavid left face-off dot to the net, and that was knifed away by Marcus Pettersson. Here's McDavid, leaving it for Bouchard just inside the blue line. Back to McDavid. Gets it back from Nugent-Hopkins. Nugent-Hopkins gliding behind the net. Centering. One-timer ripped right into the chest of Tolofilo by Evan Bouchard. That was 90-mile-an-hour plus. But with 6:20 gone by in this second period, it remains 1-0 Edmonton.
Edmonton did an excellent job on puck recovery after McDavid lost the draw. But they had no net front presence there. Hyman was boxed out quite effectively. Bouchard from distance, and swallowing that up was the 6'6" Tolopilo.
McDavid digging in against Atu Ratu.
Ratu's a good face-off, man. He's at 60%, Jack.
Won another draw. Vancouver again can't clear, but Pettersson did a nice job of shielding and allowing Roenick to come over and whistle it around the right-hand side. Actually squirted through Jarry, so it's a total reload for Edmonton with 1:15 left in the high stick on Garland. McDavid jitterbugging his way in from the right-hand side. Kicked it back to Bouchard. Slide step to his right against O'Connor. Loads, dishes, backhander save, rebound, score! Zach Hyman got it through Tolofilo. And his 7th power play goal of the year extends Edmonton's lead to 2-0. Hyman, 7 on the power play, 17 on the season, and the Oilers up a deuce. They make Garland pay.
Jack, I thought Hyman was going to be hard-pressed to get to the 25-goal plateau. He's got 17 goals now in 30 games. He's got a chance to get those 30 goals. I mean, and that's kind of how it's a Zach Hyman goal. Bouchard with the net drive, and Hyman found the loose change and poked it home.
Time 6:49. I'm not sure Tolofilo is going to be enthralled with that goal. Little backhander from Hyman. Yes, close quarters, but it gets through Tolofilo, and Edmonton extends to a 2-goal lead. Remember, Kevin Lankinen, who has not had a great record against Edmonton, I believe 1-4 career, was feeling a bit under the weather, unable to go tonight, although he is backing up. But Colson dumps it in, looking for Roslovic, who got the first goal of the period. Now he sets up Kapanen. Kapanen was stripped from behind by Evander Kane, held in by Matthias Ekholm behind the net for Podkolzin. So the Oilers with some breathing room at 2-0. Nurse sent it back down low. Tyler Myers to Evander Kane, swatted it off the half wall. And now you've got Liam Ogren taken away. Podkolzin to the net, wrist shot, held and then dropped by Tolofilo. And cleared the other way, tracking is Ekholm to settle it for Edmonton. One at even strength, one on the power play for the Oilers here in the second period after a scoreless first. Kapanen to Roslovic. Spins and launches one into the corner, and it hit an official. Ty Emberson unable to make a play on it. And now a reset for the Canucks. Tyler Myers with 12 minutes to go in period 2. Oilers up 2-0, trying to draw within 2 points of the Pacific Division lead held by Vegas, who rallied and beat Toronto the other night. Now Sasson in front. Quick sharp angle chance for Baines. That was blocked. Rebound. Carlson tried to give it up, but that was tipped away by Andrew Mangiapane. Right now, Nashville leads the Golden Knights in Vegas 1-0 midway through the second period. Here it's 2-0 Edmonton against Vancouver. Max Sasson shoots wide from a sharp angle as he dashed down the left wing. By the way, give McDavid credit for the second assist on the Hyman power play goal, and after seeing his 20-game point streak snapped against Ilya Sorokin in New York on Thursday, another streak begins anew for the league's leading point getter. That's point number 83 for McDavid. Garland into the offensive zone, got steamrolled by Hyman. Burrowing inside is Drew O'Connor to try to free it up. Garland did. Here's a shot. And that was blistered up over top of the glove of Jari. Came off the glass, held in by Garland. Shot by Roenick, blocked by McDavid. Garland has the ricochet. Tried to feed it off the pads of Jari, who knocked that down and sent it back into the corner. Garland able to wrestle it free from McDavid inside. O'Connor denied by Jari. And the rebound for Matthias Ekholm. Pumped up the right-hand side. Pettersson tried to step up, but it was booted down the ice by Trent Frederick. Gathered by Garland. He had his pocket picked from behind. Good play by Hyman. Now it's McDavid rolling out wide. Roenick stays with him. McDavid spun center. Nurse's shot denied. Rebound open net. Hyman eventually got it on net. And a save made by Tolofilo. He had his stick tied up initially, and Tolofilo was able to recover in time. What a whirling dervish maneuver by McDavid to set up Nurse, and after Tolofilo spilled the rebound, Hyman's stick tied up long enough by Pettersson. By the time he did manage to muscle it on net, Frederick involved as well. Tolofilo was able to put it to rest and keep the game at 2-0. But Roslovic and Hyman have broken through, and Edmonton leads on the road at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. It's 2-0 with 10-12 to play in the second period, and this is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network. 2-0 hockey game, Edmonton on top. Roslovic at even strength after a scoreless first, 3 minutes into the second period. Lazar and Woolman, they reviewed it. They awarded Edmonton a power play. The Oilers didn't cash in, but then Garland took a high-sticking minor, and Edmonton did score on the Atco power play, so now it's 2-0. Hyman, his 17th of the year. Bouchard and McDavid were the helpers. And now Isaac Howard looks for more. Offensive zone draw for the Oilers. Roslovic and Savoy can't connect, and the Canucks eventually manage a clear. DeBrusk ahead for Z Bouillon. Nearly turned over by Woolman. Recovered for a moment by Kampf. Roslovic had it and then lost it to Kampf. Woolman rolls over with a secondary layer of coverage beneath the goal line for Edmonton in the defensive zone. DeBrusk won a board battle against Roslovic out to Myers. Across, a shot by Bouillon redirected wide of a screen. Tristan Jari, who's been perfect thus far on 11 shots tonight. The Oilers get a clear. Edmonton has outshot Vancouver 20-11. And more importantly, 11-4 in the second period. So now you've got Myers working his way in from the right-hand side. Nurse negates that. Clears successfully up to Kapanen. He'll backhand it in from center. Liam Ogren back to collect for Vancouver. Shot by Nurse. Save Tolofilo. Rebound. It's Emberson. Now Nurse. Emberson. Sharp angle shot. Slid wide. Tolofilo came off the boards. You've got Kapanen. He's engaged with Besser. And finally raked free by Pettersson. On to Brock Besser. Defending his Nurse. He'll wind it around. Pettersson. Besser. From the right half board. Shoots. Save Jari, and the rebound available. But Pettersson fanned on it. Or it's probably 2-1. Emberson under control for the Oilers. Whistles one ahead for Nugent-Hopkins. Breakaway. Kapanen shoots and scores. 3-0. Edmonton. Kasperi Kapanen. His second goal of the year. And the Oilers finding some secondary scoring tonight on the road in Vancouver. Nugent-Hopkins in game number 999 will collect the primary assist. Oilers in control. 3-0 midway through the second.
Well, two great passes by Edmonton. First, Emerson right up the middle to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That dissects three forwards. And then speaking of dissecting, precision from Nugent-Hopkins as he funnels one through right on the tape. Breakaway for Kapanen. And it was buried home. Terrific transition from Edmonton.
3 goals in 8.5 minutes has broken open a scoreless tie. And now the Oilers have a 3-goal lead. And Vancouver trails by 3. I believe, Bob, this is the 7th time in the last 10 games they've trailed by at least 3 goals. Shot by Bouchard. That sailed wide from distance on the right side. Garland able to clear back through the red line. It's Bouchard jumping up for Mangiapane. Angled off the boards for Matthias Janmark. Vancouver in desperate straits. Janmark returns down low for Lazar, who, remember, was involved in that Roslovic goal that kind of unlocked the dam a little bit. And the Oilers have taken charge and are now up 3-0. Bouchard put the brakes on against Drew O'Connor. Line change for Vancouver. And it's a leisurely path for Bouchard as he elects what to do. He'll actually back off in his own end. Try the right-hand side for Hyman. That pass did not connect. Tolopilo will leave it for Roenick. Up the gut, and now you've got Max Sasson. Forced out wide by Stastny. Sasson up top. Roenick. Left point shot. Pettersson redirected. Save made. Jari. Rebound still loose. And Jari had an active stick to punch it free for Podkolzin on to McDavid. Roenick back defensively. Here's Podkolzin. Swarmed under by Sasson. Without Leon Draisaitl tonight, and with just a secondary assist from Connor McDavid, Edmonton has built a 3-0 second period lead. Shot in by Linus Karlsson. Jari hammered it off his own man, Stastny. Picked up and cleared by Wallman without further incident. And now McDavid double teamed as he hit the Vancouver line. Dropped it for Podkolzin. McDavid now with a point in 22 of his last 23 against the Canucks. Here's Wallman down the slot. A shot wide glove side. Rebound funneled back in front as Savoy looked for loose change. And now you've got Roenick looking to get it to Belander. Pouncing on it instead will be Isaac Howard. He's double teamed and coughed it up. Kampf up the left-hand side for Evander Kane with Emberson back. Belander filled the lane, but no, that's denied and forced out wide for DeBrusk. And David Kampf behind the net. Quick shot, save on Mancini. Rebound squirted free. Jake DeBrusk on the puck, served it up. Bouillon swung it around for Evander Kane. Centering pass, deflected. Kampf can't stuff it home. Jari made the save. Rebound cleared to Howard by Savoy. Roslovic fills the lane. Howard centers and Roslovic punches it home. And finally that line breaks through. What a feed from Howard. Buried for Roslovic. His second of the night. And Edmonton running Vancouver right out of the building. 4-0 Oilers.
Well, this line could be absolutely critical for the Oilers, because if they can get some juice going here and create 5-on-5, and who you know the answer to this, who led the Carolina Hurricanes in 5-on-5 scoring last season was Jack Roslovic, and he's got a pair of 5-on-5 goals in this game tonight. One a pass by Isaac Howard.
Head up the whole way, and just fired one through the wickets of Mancini, and Roslovic able to tuck. 5.5 to go, second period. Oilers now with 4 goals in a span of 11 minutes and 20 seconds. And 0-0 has become 4-0. And now you can hear the Oiler fans cascading chants throughout Rogers Arena. What do they call it, a takeover? Yeah. I think Edmonton has staged one here in Vancouver tonight. Nugent Hopkins rolls off a check in front, buried by Kapanen. What a feed from Nugent Hopkins. No chance from Tolopilo. And Kapanen's second of the period has given Edmonton a 5-0 lead.
Wow. That's a three-way passing play. Frederick fenced into the wall by Myers, was able to get it to Nugent Hopkins. Reverse pivots off the wall, beats Pedersen, and sneaking into the backside, Kapanen's second goal of the period.
Wow, that's some feed. Nugent Hopkins shook off Pedersen. Kapanen ducked inside on Bouillon and buried it. 5 goals now in a span of less than 12 minutes. 2 goals in 37 seconds. And Vancouver's just getting walloped. Ratu sends it in deep. 5-goal period for the Oilers. Drew O'Connor. A blast wide. Pedersen. Rebound swung in front. Quietly, Jarry's been very good. Here's a sharp angle chance by O'Connor. Vancouver has had some opportunities in tight. There's another one funneled through. This one Jarry briefly spilled against Pedersen, his old teammate, before reeling it back into his equipment and keeping this a 5-0 Edmonton bulge. The Oilers have broken it open in British Columbia. They're up big. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network. Oilers 50-50 jackpot currently sitting at $375,000 plus. The raffle jackpot is well over $315,000, supporting Casa Mental Health, Central Alberta Child Advocacy Center, and the Zebra Center, which provides support, advocacy, and mental health care for children and youth impacted by abuse and trauma. Get your tickets now, EdmontonOilers.com/5050. Well, it was 0-0 after 1, and Vancouver was hanging around. They're hanging around no more. The Oilers have broken it open. Roslovic and Kapanen each with a pair at even strength. Hyman with a power play goal. It's 5-0. The 5 goals in less than 12 minutes. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Kapanen shot by Frederick, and that's rocketed out of play as Myers got his stick in the lane. 5-0 Oilers. Exactly what they needed. A big bust out, and we told you that the last time they were shut out 1-0, they got 9 the next game. Well, none in the first period. They're back on track with 5 in the second. And even Bob is happy.
And just for your hat-trick watch purposes, Jack, both Roslovic and Kapanen each have 2 hat-tricks in their NHL career.
Here's Emerson, who helped trigger the goal scored by Kapanen to make it 3-0. He's since added a goal to make it 5-0. Connor McDavid. Little give and go down low. With Emerson, Canucks are able to take it away from Podkolzin and chip it in for Garland. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go in this second period. And Edmonton has busted this one wide open as the Oilers trying to shake off a 2-game losing streak. Here's McDavid charging in, drop pass, shot, score! Vasily Podkolzin. A first-round pick of the Canucks in 2019 has just made it 6-0 from McDavid. 6 goals in the second period for Edmonton.
While Connor McDavid tries to drive Rodick inside, the puck gets swept off his stick. I think this one's going to be unassisted. 11th goal of the season for Vasily Podkolzin. The Canucks traded him to Edmonton on August 18th of 2024. That was 2 days before the Oilers management team had to make the decision on Dylan Holloway and Philip Rober. And suffice to say, for the life of me, I can't figure out what Rick Tocchet didn't like about Vasily Podkolzin. Because Rick's a good coach and Vasily's a hard-working, honest player.
What did Podkolzin say when he got up this morning?
I don't know.
I'm not playing with Draisaitl. I guess I'm stuck with McDavid.
Yes.
Here's Archie Baines. Max Sasson. Stolen away by Savoy. Isaac Howard bursts of speed across the line left wing for Jack Roslovic. That is 6 goals in 13.5 minutes for Edmonton. and 3 goals in a span of 2:03. Sassone in from the right-hand side. I was right. McDavid the assist.
Oh, if you listen to these broadcasts enough, you're often right.
I always have the final say.
Yes, you do.
2.5 to go in the second period. So McDavid with 2 helpers tonight. 84 points on the season. That leads the NHL. And the Edmonton Oilers are well on their way to crawling for now within 2 points of first place Vegas in the Pacific. Off a dump in. Jari tried to swing it through Evander Kane, who knocked it down with his shoulder, and then on the way up the right-hand side, the puck clipped a player on the Vancouver bench. So a faceoff will come back in the Edmonton zone with 2:03 to go, and we'll take one final timeout here in the second period. It's all Edmonton all the time. 6 goals on 16 shots in the second period. Vancouver with none. Blowout for the Oilers at Rogers Arena. And you're listening to it right here, the Oilers Radio Network. Well, for the second time in a week, Nikita Tolopilo has seen 6 pucks get behind him. But tonight, unlike Monday, in the loss to Montreal, 6 have gotten behind him in 1 period. It was scoreless after 1. Now it's 6-0 Oilers with 2:03 to play in the second. And Edmonton's turned out the lights on Vancouver's hopes of breaking its 9-game losing streak. Instead, for only the second time in their club history, the Canucks will have dropped 10 in a row. Last time was January 1998. Well, Kane finished off Emberson. That was Bob's reaction.
Wow.
And, of course, that was answer for an earlier hit by Emberson on Kane. Now Nurse takes a lead pass from Nugent-Hopkins. Fires on net. A save made by Tolopilo. With 1:36 to go in the second, keeping the score at 6-0. Roslovic
at 2-2, Kootenay's back to even at the Memorial Cup, but shorthanded did not bother Joe Antilla last night. His goal changed the momentum against the
11th goal of the season.
Still haven't given Frederick credit for his second assist.
1:36 to go in period 2.
On the Oilers' 5th goal, Kaplan's second of the game.
Nugent-Hopkins against Elias Pettersson. Face off to Tolopilo's right-hand side. Cleanly won by Pettersson. Driven up the right-hand side for Connor Garland. Finds Pettersson. Scoots in, drops it off for Besser. He waits, dishes, one-timer from distance. Save on Marcus Pettersson by goaltender Tristan Jarry. Across to Tyler Myers. Tried to duck inside Frederick, and that did not pan out. These two teams will not see one another again until the regular season finale. Who knows? Edmonton might be playing for a division title at that point. Oilers trying to hunt down Vegas. They're going to do their part tonight, but the Golden Knights have gotten 2 second-period goals to take a 2-1 lead on Nashville entering the third. Kapanen, with 1 minute to go in the period, turned it over as he hit the Vancouver blue line. Now Pettersson the other way, left to right for the Canucks. Tried to scoop it toward Jari. Ekholm was having none of it. Laid a glove on it, left it on the deck for Connor McDavid, who has 2 assists in this second period. On to Ekholm. Half-minute to go now. Hyman, hard rim around the boards. That might escape the zone. McDavid came over to try to hold on to it, but instead out to center. Ekholm to Bouchard. Now Hyman. Breaking in McDavid. Waits. Fires one over the net. Rebound came out in front off the boards and held by Tolopilo with 12 seconds to go in the second period. And the Oilers holding a commanding 6-0 lead.
Can't recall the last time Edmonton got 6 goals in a period, Jack.
Well, that's why we have a research team. April 27th, 2013. Third period against Vancouver. And that might have been, was that a hat trick night for
Yakupov?
Yakupov. And as I recall, you and I were a little surprised to see them leave Luongo in.
Yeah.
because the Vancouver Canucks were on their way to the playoffs. The Oilers were playing out the string.
Yakupov got 5 goals in the final 2 games that year.
Yeah, I think he had a hat trick that night.
And finished with 17 to lead the team.
6 goals in the third period against Vancouver. And we're being told that was the last time nearly 13 years ago. One last puck drop to the right side of Tolopilo. And Tyler Myers will stick handling out. The shots in that period, almost irrelevant. 17 for the Oilers, and for the Canucks, 9. Tristan Jarry perfect on 16 through 40 minutes. And the Oilers are up 6-0. The only lasting suspense in this game, obviously the clean sheet for Jarry, but more importantly, I think for Edmonton, if you think about Jarry's first couple starts, they had big leads, and they gave up chances late in the game. Jarry, I think, gave up 3 goals.
That is the second period when the Oilers scored 6 goals. Let's look at the last time that the Oilers have scored 6 goals in that game against the Canucks. When Yakupov scored a hat-trick.
Handle the pass. Gagne picks it up, though, back to the line to Schultz with a slapper. Luongo save. Rebound, they score. It's an out front. Another, no! Score! Justin Schultz able to put it between the pads of Luongo. Yakupov scores into an open net with Luongo at the side of the goal. Into the zone with a chance. Scores! Wow! Luongo save. Yakupov with a hat-trick. Scores!
Neil Yakupov! Hat-trick goal! 6-2 Oilers! 5 goals in the third period! And here's Jared Smithson trying to throw one more. He scores! Jared Smithson! For the first time in franchise history,
gets his first points
Oilers score 6 in the period.
Well, this is all Ryan Smith has worked.
This Pedersen, as Edmonton looks to turn in a solid third period in front of their goaltender, Tristan Jarry, who's been sneaky good tonight. This is going to be an icing call against Matthias Ekholm, 25 seconds in. It's also the fastest 6 goals, 13 minutes and 23 seconds, that the Oilers have scored in a single game since 1996. Now, were you out of the woods by then, Bob, or were you still doing the tree point?
No, I did that game. Was that against Calgary?
In 1996?
Yeah.
I don't, maybe. William, hard shot from Tyler Myers. You were doing stats then?
Yep, that was the first, 95-96 was the first year I worked for Larry Isaac.
Right, but in the summer, that summer.
Yeah, I was up in Prince George.
Here's Evander Kane. Lead pass for Myers. Shot from distance. Glove save Jarry. His 18th of the night. And he keeps this a 6-0 Edmonton lead. Hyman a power play goal, and Podkolzin unassisted at even strength. That rounds out your 6 goal scorers in that 13-minute flurry that turned a close game into a rout. Oilers are going to go to 9-3-1 in their last 13 on the road. And Edmonton will open up an 8-game homestand tomorrow night against St. Louis. Cam Moon and Bob will have that one for you. It's a 6 o'clock face-off at Rogers Place. Blues just snapped Tampa Bay's 11-game winning streak. Trent Frederick from St. Louis to Nugent Hopkins, whiffing on a one-timer. Kasperi Kapanen looking for his 3rd hat trick. As Bob Stauffer told you before, he has 2. Off the rush the other way, Liam Ogren with a wrist shot, kicked away by Jarry. Rebound fumbled in front, broken up by Nugent Hopkins, who had 2 gorgeous assists in that second period. Just beautiful plays. He'll celebrate his 1,000th game in that back end of a back-to-back, and that has been problematic. It must be stated for Edmonton this year, a record of 1, 3, and 4 in the second of back-to-backs.
Well, if ever you're going to roll the lines over, and
this would be it.
This would be it.
Big breakout, I thought, for Howard setting up Roslovic. Feel-good moment for that line, which has been on the verge the whole week. 5-game week for the Oilers, must be stated. Arshdeep Bains tucks behind for Linus Karlsson. Up the boards, Marcus Pettersson. His shot deflected wide. Roenick tried to center, broken up by Wallman. A backhander on net and a save on Baines. A second save on Baines made by Jarry. And the rebound finally cleared by Savoy. Edmonton again over the final 17 minutes would kind of like to tighten that up.
Yep.
Make it a little bit easier on Tristan Jarry to get to the finish line. But a little sloppy late in games with big leads with Jarry in net. Savoy to Jack Roslovic. And he'll send it in deep. Roslovic like Kapanen, a pair of hat tricks on his resume. Elias Pettersson had it stolen by Mangiapane, stepping up as Curtis Lazar. The biggest thing is, again, heading into a back-to-back, you can also evenly spread the minutes. I don't see McDavid getting close to more than, 17 or 18 tonight?
100%. I think you get another power play, get a second power play in it all.
Here's Ekholm drive. That was redirected, I think, played with a high stick in the estimation of the officials by Janmark. And the play is blown dead with 16:47 to go in the third. Again, the luxury of having a big lead on the front end of a back-to-back. Vancouver opening one of 2 8-game homestands it has in the second half of the year. And with the Canucks drifting hopelessly out of contention, that's going to be tough on the Rogers Arena crowds. Which again packed with blue and orange tonight. And they were rewarded with that 6-goal onslaught in the second. Jake DeBrusk backhanding it ahead for Evander Kane. He's going to be cut off by Emberson. Hard rim up the right-hand side. Hyman didn't get it out. Here's a shot by Kampf and a save made by Jarry. Rebound taken by Emberson. Reverse back behind. Jarry directing traffic, but Colson made certain to secure possession. But when he went up the boards, Hyman couldn't get it out. Kampf. Interior pass, Jake DeBrusk. Tried to give it back to Roenick. Broken up by McDavid. And then Roenick got back in time to prevent any sort of McDavid rush. Funneled back in by Vancouver. Nurse will toss it up the right-hand boards. Emberson guides to Podkolzin. Now McDavid hits the trailer, gets it back from Nurse. And tried a second pass to the middle that did not pan out. Here's Podkolzin. McDavid. Just one secondary assist tonight to Nurse down low. Hyman unable to brush that one home. Here's a steal by McDavid. Dangling behind the Vancouver net. Centering, tipped away. Stastny will hold the zone. Still looking for his first point in an Oiler uniform. Gives it up for McDavid. Not a bad way to get it. Off the pads of Tolopilo. And now McDavid tried to drag back toward the middle. Hacked off the stick by Pettersson and retrieved by Wallman in his own zone. Nearly 5 minutes gone, third period. Frederick in from the right-hand side. Hit by Roenick. Snapped the pass to Stastny. Wallman left point shot. Save Tolopilo. Big rebound. Swing and a miss by Frederick. And Roenick able to come up with it for Vancouver. Tough sledding for the Canucks. They're going to go to 0-8-2 in their last 10. Tie the club record for the longest losing streak. And again, Edmonton's been there. Steal made by Ogren. Snapshot on net. O'Connor and a save made by Jarry. Rebound still loose. And O'Connor couldn't get there in time. Kapanen snatched it away and sent one skittering back into the Vancouver zone. Belander ahead. Ogren turned it over. Savoy a good read. Punched it forward against Mancini. Now Ogren cross ice to Belander. He'll back off. Send a dart up to Linus Karlsson. At the red line, Sasson overran the play and did not get away with a trip. Thought he did for a moment, but the backside official had it as he just tripped Matt Savoy. And we'll see whether Bob Stauffer's second unit suggestion will be put to the test. Savoy in the slot. Had it taken off the stick. We've played nearly 6 minutes in the third period. And this will be the third power play of the night for the Edmonton Oilers is going to the box is Sasson.
Well, we should mention that the second power play unit features Savoy along with Howard and Roslovic, and they just had the 5-on-5 shift for about 35 seconds.
I still don't think that's going to matter a great deal.
They're keeping them up. They're going to keep the second unit on the ice. Here you go.
Chris Knobloch.
He's not going to run up the score here.
Now, that might be an argument that the top unit is making right now, but think they're going to win it.
Well, they earned the penalty.
Yeah, so Roslovic, Howard, Savoy with Nurse and Ekholm is your Atco Energy power play unit. Off the draw, Vancouver able to win it. Pettersson to Tyler Myers. He'll jump up in the play with Elias Pettersson. Offside, Myers is probably not used to jumping up short-handed. Down the right side.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is Elias Pettersson the best forward on the Vancouver Canucks?
I don't think he's been the best forward this season for the Vancouver Canucks. I think if you look at his talent level, yes.
Okay, you're in a 6-0 game. Do you want it, like, you know, yeah, he's winning draws and everything, but and maybe they're trying to score a 5v5 goal here, but short-handed goal here.
Why do you have him out there? Is what you're saying?
What happened?
To potentially block a shot.
Yes.
Here's Savoy, left side. Isaac Howard run into the boards by Marcus Pettersson. Nurse and Ekholm trade the puck up top. One touch to Savoy. Saucered back to Nurse. He'll shoot. Save made. Tolopilo. 13:31 to go in the third period. Minute 27 and the penalty to Sasson. And here comes Edmonton's top unit. Wallman, Bouchard, Hyman, McDavid, and Nugent-Hopkins. So, as it turns out, still only about 33 seconds for the second unit.
So, Jack, I don't think they should trade Pettersson. I know that the management talked about the fact Patrick Alvin, along with Jim Rutherford, we're taking calls on anybody. I wouldn't do that if I was them.
Here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I think if you have a chance to move that $11.5 million contract, you move it.
Yeah.
I disagree with you. He's a talented player, but he has not been the same guy since signing that contract. And I think him not being that same guy and him having a disappointing series against Edmonton planted the seeds of some unrest that carried over into the next year. Here's McDavid in from the right-hand side. That's what I would say. Besser clears down the left-hand side. I haven't spent a minute inside that Vancouver locker room.
Fair. You know what? And I just look at it. Why did they trade Bo Horvat? That's the one that I don't get.
Nugent-Hopkins to McDavid. O'Connor. Now, without Bo Horvat, they
had a great year.
Racked up 109 points, but you wonder what that was built on. And
there's
it's a year that everything went right, and the next year when things didn't go right, the combustible personalities kind of turned that season south, and now you're at where you're at. They made 2 trades where they gave up the best player in both deals, JT Miller and Quinn Hughes. And that's always the danger of making those deals, is you're giving up the best player. And as I say that, I recognize that I'm suggesting another deal where maybe the best player will go the other way in the deal.
100%.
Bouchard in from the right-hand side. McDavid shooting. Save made by Tolopilo. On the top of the right circle, McDavid denied. Now he'll go to work left corner. Hyman could not handle a hard centering pass. Wallman's got it right circle. Atco power play is over. McDavid shoots. Save. Tolopilo rebound sitting there. Hyman can't get there. Wallman will pounce on it. Give it back to McDavid. On the short side, he'll give it up for Nugent-Hopkins. Vancouver should have had this puck cleared. Didn't do it. And now they're playing chase 5-on-5. Myers looks to break up the cycle. Didn't get it out. Jake DeBrusk will have a chance to muster a clear, and he does as far as center. And now the Canucks will change it up with 11.5 to go in regulation. And trust me, folks, this one is not going to require overtime. Bumped in by Podkolzin. Reversed up the right-hand side. Baines cut off by Spencer Stastny. Ty Emberson to Kasperi Kapanen. Rink wide to Podkolzin left wing. He'll shoot it around the boards. Picked up by Kapanen. Must be sweet for Podkolzin to score against the team that gave up on him. Tried to center. Deflected in front. Now Kapanen with 2 goals already tonight. Again, it was a 6-goal second period for Edmonton that broke this one open. 6-0, 11 minutes to play in the third. Podkolzin still in the attacking zone, coming off the end boards. With the dish, high slot, Emberson a shot and a save made by Tolopilo. Knifed ahead, too far for Atu. Ratu simply could not catch up to that puck, and Emberson able to take it away. Stastny up the left-hand side, Mangiapane, and it's rolled out of the zone for Trent Frederick. He'll fire from distance, miss the net from beyond the blue line, taken by Mangiapane off the glass. Nurse steps into a shot, save Tolopilo, rebound Victor Mancini. Over to Marcus Pettersson up the center, Evander Kane. Taken away and shot back in by Curtis Lazar. Isaac Howard now on the puck. Tried to jam it toward the net. That was deflected wide. Mancini, right-hand side, looking for Besser. Edmonton's opponent tomorrow, St. Louis, already in Edmonton. Janmark walks in. Drag move to his left. Around Besser, cross ice. One-timer, and Mangiapane missed. Rebound came off the glass. Lazar trying to control. Besser had it. Backhanded it over to Marcus Pettersson. Oilers blew a 2-0 lead in the team's prior matchup. Lost 3-2 to St. Louis on the road earlier this year. That was early November. Flip back in front. Blues right now are 5 points out of the wild card. Here's Nurse off the rush. A shot and a save made by Tolopilo. Hustling toward the rebound. Isaac Howard couldn't get there in time. Tolopilo will fall on it. He's been peppered with 33 shots tonight. Edmonton, a dominant second period. And a 6-0 lead with 9:18 to go. We'll be right back with more live third period play-by-play on Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network. 6-0 our score. Edmonton on the road in Vancouver tonight. The Oilers will have 5 points of a possible 6 in their 3 meetings with the Canucks by night's end. Roslovic centering Savoy and Howard. Roslovic with a pair of goals tonight. Howard and Savoy each with an assist as Edmonton, after a scoreless first period, got to work in the second. And the end result was 6 goals in a span of less than 13.5 minutes, including 3 in a span of 2:03. Turned the game into a rout. Off the face-off to the right side of Nikita Tolopilo, whose 6th NHL start. Starts 5 and 6 have not been great. Now we've got a roughing call against Vancouver. And this is 4 power plays tonight for Edmonton without 1 for the Canucks.
Sort of a glancing blow.
I think it's Myers.
Yeah, he just got the glove up on Isaac Howard. Coming back up the ice.
Ekholm's barking at Myers.
A little bit of a cross check.
And top unit is out for the Oilers against the beleaguered Canucks, who are going to play their 13th game in a row scoring 3 goals or less. Last year they had a run of 16 straight, but they were getting goaltending. They went 8-7-1.
Well, Lankinen was terrific for them at the start of the year. And then the Oilers came in here, Jack, and just crushed them 7-2. Connor Brown had a couple that night for the Oilers.
Canucks still didn't miss the playoffs by that much, but they're in dead last right now, and it's not getting any better. Off the draw, Woolman to Bouchard, Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid to Bouchard, Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid tried to bank it off the goaltender. Woolman shot it off the side of the net. Had the whole right side of the goal and missed. Rebound cleared by Garland. Canucks will get a change.
There's too many Canadians on the ice. Nobody wants to shoot.
1 for 3 on the power play for the Edmonton Oilers. Here's Bouchard. Back pass to McDavid. Slide step through one man. Stripped. And Besser will drill that up the right-hand side. Knocked down by Jari. And he'll leave it for Evan Bouchard. Bouchard to McDavid. Streaking in right-hand side. You're saying Roslovic needs to be on this top unit?
I'm saying these guys need to shoot more.
Nugent-Hopkins. Feathered one across. Woolman. Bouchard. McDavid. In front, Nugent-Hopkins. That went through the wickets of Pettersson, but stayed in the zone. Bouchard, McDavid down low. Hyman's open across to Woolman. Denied. Tolopilo. Woolman was nearly bear hugged by Besser. You're not going to get a 5-on-3 in a 6-0 game late third period, though. Canucks drill one off the partition. They get a friendly bounce, and the Oiler top unit will change reluctantly. Nugent-Hopkins scrolls back to collect for the Oilers. Sees the rest of his teammates have exited, so he'll defer as well. Back pass to Savoy. Roslovic guides ahead for Matthias Ekholm. Tried to center. Stuffed by Valander. Played behind the net where Howard put it in the high slot. And Nurse was off balance and couldn't maintain the zone. 15 seconds left on the Atco power play, which is about to be 1 for 4 tonight. Edmonton hasn't needed it. The Oilers scored 5 times at even strength in the second period. Nurse, a dart to Savoy as Vancouver comes back to full strength. Shoveled out by Valander. 7 minutes remaining. Edmonton 6, Vancouver nothing. Shots are 35-24 Oilers. Nurse into the zone. Wraps it around Mancini. Got checked by Savoy. Loose in front, out into the high slot. Shot Emberson. That stayed out. Rebound Savoy. Kept it alive for Isaac Howard. Flicked away by Valander. He's on the puck for Vancouver, looking left side for Baines. Now Garland in over the line. Baines will step up. He tried to center, and that was blocked by Emberson. Archdeep Baines now into the corner for Connor Garland. We got a penalty finally coming against Edmonton. Maybe a high stick. Baines, Garland across to Myers. A blast. Blocked away by Jarry. Rebound Garland. Tried to roll it back to the point. Picked off by Janmark. We'll take a break and come back. And it's Roslovic to the box. Vancouver's first power play of the night. On the other side of this break, Edmonton 6, Vancouver no score. Oilers for the first time tonight on the Napa Auto Parts penalty kill, which got nicked up for the game winner the other night by the New York Islanders. That was a third period power play goal by Anthony Duclair. Middle of the pack for the season. Vancouver, decent power play. It's really the only category where the Canucks aren't in the bottom third. They're at 20%, also middle of the pack in the league, and it's keyed by Jake DeBrusk's team leading 11 power play goals, which is good enough for a tie for third in the NHL. But the Oilers won the face-off and drilled it down the left-hand side.
Good work by Lazar and nice reverse by Bouchard.
And now Savoy comes on to join Bouchard, Ekholm, and Janmark. Elias Pettersson gained the line, moving in right to left. See Bouillon. 5:45 to play in the game. Jake DeBrusk, side of the net, tried to stuff it short side on Jarry. Rebound in the blue paint, and Jarry's got it with 5:39 to go in the third period. 1:25 left in the penalty to Jack Roslovic. The Napa Auto Parts penalty kill being put to the test for the first time.
Nugent Hopkins out with Kapanen. Oilers need a center out there to win a draw.
Against Pettersson. Kapanen. Stastny, Emberson round out the penalty-killing quartet. Vancouver wins the face-off. Pettersson. Bouillon. Shot. Save. Jarry. Juggled and then held.
Nugent Hopkins had a good game tonight. Couple terrific primary assists. And the Oilers really haven't needed a lot of juice on the power play. When you score 5 even-strength goals in a period, 6 overall.
And it's impressive considering Draisaitl's not in the lineup, and McDavid has 1 secondary assist on a power play goal. So he hasn't been involved in a 5-on-5 goal at all tonight. Your top 2 guys. Here's Linus Karlsson trying to short side stuff. And that's the kind of game that it matters a little bit tonight, but maybe there's some carryover and guys start getting confidence and it bleeds in to this 8-game homestand where you can get a little bit stale when you're home for that length of time. So you need everyone going because chances are on that long of a homestand, you're not going to have everyone going the whole time. Here's Kapanen driving in left-hand side for Podkolzin. Short-handed. Oilers playing keep away right now. Jake Wallman just holding on to the puck. Back down low to Podkolzin. Try to centering pass to Kapanen as they're looking to get him a hat trick, but Jake DeBrusk picked it off. 30 seconds left in the Vancouver power play. Canucks change on the fly. Connor Garland waiting at center for the change to be fully complete. Now DeBrusk will step off, and Philip Hronek takes it into the offensive zone against Darnell Nurse. Canucks just trying to get on the board here. Garland to Valander. Across. A shot by Evander Kane. That was deflected. Garland back on top of the puck. Inside. Backdoor play intended for Kane, and a diving Vasily Podkolzin deflected that out of play. And did you see the appreciative tap that Tristan Jarry gave Vasily Podkolzin? He's got a 6-goal lead, and Podkolzin, that was a full stretch to deny a potential backside tap in. Edmonton will be back at full strength when we come back for the final 4 minutes and 13 seconds of regulation. The Oilers long ago have salted this one away. They're up 6-0 in Vancouver. 4 minutes, 13 seconds to play, third period. Curtis Lazar wins the defensive zone draw, and the Oilers funnel it out to center. Mangiapane took it from Janmark, dished off to Lazar, swing and a miss for Janmark, trying to tee up a one-timer, and Emberson has to glide back with Stastny to play the puck back in his own end. In case you're just joining us, Oilers and Canucks played to a scoreless tie through 20, and then Edmonton erupted for 6 in a span of less than 13 and a half minutes in the second period. First time that's happened since 1996. That many goals in such few time. Here's Kane looking right side for David Kampf. Broken up by Stastny. Garland then tried a cross-ice feed to Bouillon, but it glanced off his skate and ricocheted all the way back into the Vancouver zone. Myers a hard pass to Kane. He shoots high and wide of Jarry. Rebound Myers. Now you've got Drew O'Connor. Pressure from Roslovic. O'Connor does well to maintain possession. Roslovic trying to stay with him. Thrust across for Bouillon. They'll maintain the zone. Little spin move and a nifty one on Howard. And now inside O'Connor. Right pad save on that wrist shot from O'Connor by Tristan Jarry. And the rebound lob back the other way.
I would see McDavid here in the final 4 minutes, last 4 minutes of this game.
Why would you?
Right. Competitive phase is over in this one.
And has been. Oilers reload. Bouchard to Ekholm. Sent ahead for Isaac Howard. And drop back behind the net in the Vancouver zone. Bouillon will leave it for Philip Roenick. And both teams are just in search of the finish line. Vancouver about to close out a 10th consecutive defeat. And in their last 7 games, they have now been outscored 33-9. Pettersson, right side. Valander will step up. It's tough when you're in there, Bob. 8 of the first 9 years we worked together. The Oilers didn't really threaten playoff contention. And Vancouver certainly nowhere close this year. Bouchard up the right-hand side. What's shocking is how quickly the fall has come. 2 years ago, a 109-point team. Season sweep of Edmonton and a 3-2 lead in a best-of-7 series with a chance to go to the conference final. Oilers won game 6 and 7. And the Canucks never really have recovered. Minute 20 to go. Bouillon moves through the neutral zone. He'll swing it around the boards. Jake DeBrusk on the puck. Emberson floats one back through center. Oilers have given up 14 third-period shots. The good news is most of those from the perimeter. Edmonton has not been loose here in the third. Bouillon had his pocket picked by McDavid. McDavid out for the final minute. And I have a sneaking suspicion on why that is. Lead pass, Ogren. Datu Ratu. Hyman calling for a replacement. Sending deep, Nurse. Janmark protecting in his own zone. He'll take a skate. 40 seconds now remaining. Janmark scampering across the Vancouver line. Hard net drive. Tolopilo got his stick on that puck. Garland ahead. Shot by Sasson. A save made by Tristan Jarry. That was a tough one. His 31st of the night. Wallman won a battle and flipped one over the outstretched arm of Tyler Myers. And the Oilers now control the puck at the Vancouver blue line. Roslovic trying to eat some clock. Garland desperate to try to get the Canucks on the board. Weaving his way in over the blue line. 8 seconds. A shot heading wide. Jarry laid it to rest. Kapanen will clear. And Tristan Jarry with a shutout for the Edmonton Oilers. the 23rd of his career, second this season. He got one as a Pittsburgh Penguin back in October. And tonight, with 31 saves, this time he and the rest of the club come to the wire like a thoroughbred. It's a shutout victory for the Edmonton Oilers, one that leaves them 2 points out of the Pacific Division lead, pending Vegas's result against the Nashville Predators. And Vegas has completely blown it open. They were down 1-0. The Golden Knights have erupted for 5 third-period goals. They lead at 7-1, so that's going to remain a 4-point spread in the Pacific Division.
Yeah.
But Connor McDavid said it this morning. Forget about what's going on. Obviously, we're concerned for Leon Draisaitl, but we got to take care of business tonight. We haven't won the last couple games. It's time to put one in the win column, and the Oilers did that tonight. And they did it without their top 2 players, essentially.
Right, because
playing major factors.
Right, obviously.
Draisaitl not in the lineup. McDavid a secondary assist on a power play.
Yeah.
So what do you make of this performance, Bob?
Solid performance. Lots of contributors tonight. No question about it.
You're playing a last place club. You got to take care of business.
And they took care of business and they pounded them. And that's what they needed to do.
And Tristan Jarry now 13-3-2 on the season. He's having a heck of a year from a win-loss perspective. And again, the 23rd shutout of his NHL career. Kasperi Kapanen and Jack Roslovic each with a pair in the second period. And really, the Oilers just blew it open with the 3 goals in a span of 2:03 and 6 in the period. And now, with a 6-0 victory, they'll return home at 24-17-8 for an 8-game homestand. And we're joined by Kasperi Kapanen, who's going to get a look at the team that made him available to Edmonton, and the Oilers eagerly snatched him up. But tonight, Kasperi, we were just talking. Look, you're playing against the last place club, but there's a reason they call it the National Hockey League. You got to take care of your business. You can't just toss your sticks out there. What worked for you guys in that second period? What got it rolling in your mind?
Well, I think throughout the game, we were pretty good, so I think we were holding on to pucks pretty well. Weren't turning the puck over as much as we have in the past games, which has been feeding the other team in their transition. So I think we were taking care of the puck, and today everybody put in a solid effort. Everybody worked hard, and I think it showed today.
So, Kasperi, you have the best player on the planet on a nightly basis, but last year the best player in the league was Leon Draisaitl. It's a significant absence. You needed other guys to step up, and that's what happened tonight. That's part of it, isn't it?
Exactly. When you're missing, a guy like that right now, guys need to step up, and I think a lot of guys did today. And then I think as a team, we played very well today. And this one was obviously for Leon and his family. Can't imagine what they're going through right now. So this was for them.
Well said. And finally, when the game is decided, when the outcome's decided, you know you're going to win. How mindful of the players are that there's a shutout at stake, and how much, what degree of importance did you place on playing that final 10 minutes hard in front of your goaltender?
Well, I think Podgy making that play on the PK sums it up pretty well. I think we want to play for each other, even though the score is 6-0. So Podgy making that play and just little plays, breaking up plays and then putting our body on the line just to kind of help Jars out and get him that shutout is key. So this team's feeling it right now, and we got business to take care of tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that.
Thanks so much for the time, pal.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Kasperi Kapanen with 2 goals, and he pointed out the very same play we did, Bob, in a 6-0 game, a full stretch by Vasily Podkolzin. And again, you said it, we're a little mystified why that didn't work for Rick Tocchet's Canucks, but sometimes you need a fresh scenery. Sometimes it does mean something for the player, does unlock something within. And Vasily Podkolzin, one of a long list of players that shined tonight. Bob, looking forward to tomorrow. Obviously, we expect the exact same lineup except for Connor Ingram in net against the St. Louis Blues, who are at a different stage than the Vancouver Canucks are. And this is why I bring that up, Bob, is unlike Vancouver, St. Louis doesn't think it's out of it right now. Right. St. Louis is thinking, we can catch a San Jose. We can catch a Utah.
Well, they've done it twice, right? They did it the year they won the Cup. They came from, 31st in the league. And then even last year, they chased down a playoffs.
They were dead to rights.
Right? They were done.
I think they won their last 15 at home.
Right. And were unbelievable after the Four Nations face-off. Bennington built upon that victory for Canada against the United States, where he stoned the Americans. The Americans were the better team in overtime before Connor McDavid ended up scoring the GWG and OT. So they were a different team. They have that ability. They are down some players. Robert Thomas has been really good against Edmonton, and he's out with a lower body injury. Dylan Holloway, of course, the former leader, had 26 goals, 63 points last year. He's been out really most of the season.
He's close. He's a possibility, but we don't necessarily expect him to play.
Suter is another guy who's got an ankle injury, an ankle for Holloway as well, and then an elbow injury for Joseph. So that's 4 of their top 12 forwards and 2 of their top 6 with Thomas and Holloway in their third-line center. So, yes, Edmonton doesn't have Draisaitl, but they're playing a Blues team that's beat up, and then back to Bennington. 871 save percentage. Would not surprise me if we see Joel Hofer,
who got the win against Tampa, ended their streak. The Lightning had won 11 in a row.
He's at 905 this year, represented by Edmonton's Jerry Johansson, and I know the joke in St. Louis was we better get him signed because the Oilers might counter the 2 offer sheets. Broberg is back. He got a took a headshot.
The concussion protocol.
He's back. He's playing. They got 4 D-men playing 20-plus minutes a game. Broberg going for Sweden to the Olympics. Parayko going for Canada to the Olympics. Falk and Fowler, a pair of Americans that are, 33 and 34 respectively. It's a veteran team with young forwards. It's going to be a challenging game tomorrow night.
And we'll have it for you again at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Cam and Bob with the call. Tonight, Tristan Jarry, a 31-save shutout in Vancouver. Now 13-3-2 overall on the year with 2 shutouts and a 4-0-1 record with the Edmonton Oilers. And he likes facing the Vancouver Canucks. 6-1-1 lifetime against Vancouver. In his 6th start, Nikita Tolopilo, he was good early, and then it kind of caved in on him and the rest of the team in the second period when the Oilers erupted for 6 goals. First time they got 6 in a period since April of 2013. First time 6 inside of 14 minutes since 1996. Kapanen and Roslovic with a pair. Hyman a power play goal, and Podkolzin 1 for good measure. The Oilers now 24-17-8. Meanwhile, the Canucks are hurting. 10 consecutive defeats, 16-27-5. They've been outscored 33-9 in their last 7 games, and they are dead last in the National Hockey League. Next up, as we talked about, the second of a back-to-back, which has not been easy for the Oilers. They've lost 7 of 8 in that scenario. They'll look to change that tomorrow night against the Blues, who will enter with a record of 19-21-8. They're currently 5 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. Until tomorrow's clash against the Blues, 6 o'clock starting time. And for Bob Stauffer and Brendan Ascott and Rob Brown, I'm Jack Michael saying good night from Vancouver's Rogers Arena. The Oilers blast the Canucks 6-0. Ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure was all ours. The Rogers postgame show starts right now.